Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of eCoffee with Experts. I'm your host, Matt Fraser. And on today's show, I have with me George Lee. George is the CEO and accelerator of Snap Agency, a digital technology and marketing agency headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He is a thought leader, influencer, and risk taker. He built his first e-commerce website in 2000 and has since launched 15 online stores across 3 different channels. He has also served in senior executive positions at the Data Card Group, MasterCard International, and is the co-founder of TechDump, a nonprofit social enterprise that is an industry leader in electronics recycling, helping to provide employment opportunities to the economically challenged. George, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So, George, we were discussing, you had a topic you wanted to talk about, like tips for growing your business with fewer website visitors. And I have to admit, it kind of threw me off a little bit when I was reading it without any explanation. So could you elaborate a little bit about exactly what you're talking about? And maybe we can discuss your philosophy behind that.
Sure. So quite a while ago, when I started the agency 11 years ago, started working with organizations other than our own websites. Mm-hmm. And the first request was, can you increase the number of visitors to my website?
Yeah.
And our first question back to them was, what's your conversion rate? And I go, our conversion rate is abysmal. It's a 0.25% or 0.1%.
Wow.
I go, well, you could double your visitors to your website, but you're not going to double your sales. That's not going to happen. So how about if we address the conversion of the visitors to your website as a place to start? So there's lots of ways to do that. Tools to use that, just to, heat maps and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But it's really about the customer journey and having the right content, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, and guiding people through there. And then we sat down with them and said, okay, what is your site optimized for? And is that a keyword? Then obviously long tail keywords came into play that says, how about if we track people that are closer to the bottom of the funnel and are looking specifically for what they want or the problem that they have, and they're looking for a solution. And most candidly, today, still companies are still going through this exercise and going, what do you mean? This is my primary keyword. I want to show up on page 1 of Google for my primary keyword.
Yeah,
that's
and that
not going to help.
Exactly. No, and that keyword might not have commercial intent. Like it just could be an informational search.
Correct. What we want is keyword strings that have a greater level of intent.
Yeah.
So we started working with and taking the approach that says, all right, do you want to grow your business or do you just want to grow the visitors to your website and have more traffic? Yeah. And they always say yes to both. Well, let's just pick one, and we're gonna pick the one that says we're gonna help you grow your business. Yeah. So we literally started, this was early on, which traditional marketers understand completely, is we want to do research on your targeted persona. Who is your target customer that's either gathering information or making a decision? Yeah. And let's structure not only the content in the website, but let's structure everything around keywords for the way that those people talk and actually type things into search engines.
Absolutely.
So all of a sudden we have, clients, manufacturers, e-com companies that are going, my website traffic's going down. Yes, but what's happening to your sales? Analytics says your sales are increasing month over month, year over year. Yeah, but my website visitors are down. I go, again, do you want to increase your business and your revenue or want to increase the visitors to your website? Well, I want to increase my business. I go, okay, that's what's happening. Yeah. So basically that is the approach that we took and had some terrific case studies to support it. But, we start from day one now with, who is your targeted persona? Yeah. And we have a branding team that dive into education and all kinds of persona factors. Mm-hmm. And we use that as a brand platform, not only for content and imagery on a website, but the customer journey. More importantly, for what are the keywords that those people are actually typing in the search engines?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating that you bring this up, because There's so many things. For instance, the customer journey and personas. I cannot tell you how many interviews you could go back and watch that I've done so far, in which it's marketing 101. Who is your target persona, and what is the customer journey? And each and every one of them said that they've worked with enterprise level businesses that they don't even know what this is, like big brands. And I can attest to that because I worked for a car dealership as the marketing director. And I asked the head office for such things on a car by car basis, like who's buying this car so that I can develop content, who's buying this car. They didn't have it. And it blew my mind away. So, and the other thing that comes up, I guess, is most people don't realize how important this is. It's the foundation of marketing. I even have one guest that's an instructor at a marketing school. And she says, even the students don't want to do it. They just want to get to tweeting and writing the tweets. But if you don't do the foundation of the customer persona and the customer journey, you don't even know what to write. You don't, and like you said, it's so strategic to finding those long tail keywords. But I guess one of the challenges that occurs is like, there's a certain amount of money. Like people think that it's I'm going to be frank. People think it's a waste of money, which I don't understand. They think it's because it's intangible to spend that money on that customer journey. But yet you and I know it's so strategic. It's so important. It's the foundation. So how do you bridge that gap with business owners, other CEOs, entrepreneurs that, hey, no, this is really important. You need to spend the money to do this. Like, are there objections that you get that you've found ways to stress the importance of that whole thing?
Yes. And I can share a couple of recent examples that
sure.
You quantify the value of that customer journey. So I asked these 4 questions of every new client and candidly existing clients when I have an opportunity to talk with them. I said, okay, who are you? That doesn't mean your name, doesn't mean your logo, but who are you as an organization? What is the essence of your organization? And what's important to, your mission, vision, values, and so forth, which very few organizations have that document. So the what do you do, which is what problem are you solving? And specifically the persona, who do you specifically solve that problem for? And then the 4th question is, why should somebody choose you versus other alternatives? Now, I said, okay, you have about 60 seconds, maybe a little longer than that, to answer all 4 of those questions in any advertisement or your website to anybody that has eyes on your ad campaigns or your website.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? I said, let's look at your bounce rate. Yeah. They're going, ooh. So, okay, let's look at your bounce rate on your blogs.
Yeah.
So that's, and they start talking. And at about 5 minutes, I go, you know what? I tuned out 3 minutes ago. I'm gone.
Yeah.
So a recent example is a healthcare organization that we did everything the way that I just described in terms of brand discovery, brand platform, integrating design, UX, UI, all the way through. And their CEO, they spent a significant chunk of money on an updated website. And then their CEO came back and challenged the VP of marketing and says, hell, so what did we get out of this investment of an updated website, other than it's a lot more attractive than the old one? And I said, well, let's look at your bounce rate. Your bounce rate decreased by 50%, 56% exactly.
Wow.
How do you measure the value of your customer journey? How about decreasing the bounce rate on your website by more than half?
That's amazing.
That's a lot stickier website. And what does that mean? That means people are able to find what they're looking for. They're able to get the information that they want, or transact with you in the way they want, the way your target customer wants to transact with you. Yeah. So that's the goal. So how do you measure the value of UX? That's one way to measure the value of UX. Yes, everybody's got an opinion. And again, that's how do you know? So my perspective is it's taking traditional marketing.
Yeah.
The cigarette companies mastered that before cigarettes were pretty much outlawed in the United States. The Marlboro Man.
Oh, goodness.
And take a billboard driving down the highway. I mean, how does your target customer talk? So literally, we interviewed we're going through an exercise right now with one of our larger clients.
Oh, yeah.
We just don't understand our target customer. And I go, well, you have customers. Let's interview those customers, and we want to ask them the questions.
Yeah.
So literally, what questions do they ask when they are looking for a solution to a problem online? So how about taking, whether it's engineers, doesn't make any difference, whatever the persona is. You talk to 10 or 20 of those personas.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how consistent they are with the questions that they ask for solutions they're looking for. And you go,
wow.
Okay, let's start focusing in on those specific keyword strings that persona, their target customer, actually types in, because that's what they ask.
Yeah.
Someone types in a long tail keyword string, it's the way that they would talk. Now, Google's gotten smart, and they can interpret what they think you're looking for.
True.
But in terms of getting your website ranked, let's put that type of content and wording exactly on page, as well as the technical side of the website pages.
Yeah, building content around those words. And you mentioned speaking to the personas and the existing customers. I mean, I heard from one guest that, one of her clients, the stipulation for working with them was the fact that she would spend one day in the customer service department listening to customer service calls. So do you think that's a valuable way as well to find that information out and just listen to those calls? And
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially in a B2C environment.
Yeah. Especially in a B2C environment. Yeah. What about B2B?
Well, we are primarily a B2B agency.
Yeah.
We do have manufacturers that have e-com, functionality on their website, but in our case, it's using Google surveys. It's stuff to get people on the telephone when we can, and user conferences and in a number of different ways. But the whole objective is what are the keyword strings that the target audience is actually what. And the only way we can do that is ask them the questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it seems to be working. So again, the whole objective is you want to grow your business. That's great. And if you do it the right way, starting ground zero, your website traffic will probably decrease over 3-4 months, but your sales will increase.
Yeah.
And then your website visitors will start tracking up again, but they will follow your actual sales for leads or whatever, the objective that your website has.
So there's correlation between, so that's amazing. So between seeing that the traffic goes down because you're not wasting traffic on irrelevant searches and targeted prospects, visitors that may be interested that aren't interested in what you're offering. But you also have develop a clearer message based on who your persona is and mapping out their journey of what they're looking for and taking them through that process. And then, obviously they're more interested. You have more targeted content. You have more targeted searches. You're optimizing for those things. Even though your traffic goes down, you're saying there's a correlation between the bounce rate going down and more lead and business resulting.
Right.
That's amazing. Because when I was at the car dealership, all they wanted was more leads. And I was like, well, what about like all the things you're talking about? But they were so impatient. They really care about those things, just wanted more leads, more leads, more leads. But I eventually started to put in strategic KPIs and things like that to measure what was happening, to prove that we needed to do things differently. So when it comes to like, you mentioned the searches or the questions that the people that you're interviewing are asking and getting that information. Do you use any tools like keyword research tools to correlate that, to verify that data, that those are actual search terms, or do you just base it on those interviews?
Oh no, we use SEO Moz and Ahrefs.
Yeah, okay. And I assume so.
Yeah, a bunch of tools just to kind of narrow the focus in.
Yeah.
And there are businesses that usually startups that come to us, or if they want to launch company wants to launch a new product, and they go, what's the best way to market this? And candidly, there are times that we have to say, not digitally.
Yeah.
No one is searching for this. No one knows what this is.
Yeah.
So no, not wrong place to spend your money. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I end up saying no a lot, actually, most of the time. Mm-hmm. Either, client expectations, they're going, no, I just want to increase visitors to my website. Well, we're not the right fit for you guys.
No.
That's okay. But
yeah, absolutely.
We're going to either fire you or you're going to fire us in a very short period of time.
And then, then you have to worry about your reputation because they think you're a terrible marketing agency when it wasn't the right fit in the first place. I wish I had learned that lesson earlier in my life, George, in my journey, instead of just trying to because there are certain clients that there's nobody searching. And people have come to me and said, hey, Matt, like I even got somebody now. And I won't do it. I haven't told them yet, but there's nobody searching for what you're selling. Even long tail, low volume searches, there's nobody searching for what you're selling. But I have a question though. What about doing, like for instance, I know somebody created some darn wristbands or something, and they had success on Facebook ads by doing targeting that way, by demographic targeting and whatever you call it, like, targeting people not on search, but based on who they are. Is that a way to go about it to solve that?
Yeah, something that's new, product that's new, or niche products. It's not Google, Bing. It's social media.
Yeah,
that's how we've helped companies launch and grow. Until they have enough of a market presence. But that's you can target in so tightly. There's some restrictions Facebook has put on over the last 6 months, but you can't do that. And analytics will tell you who has come to your website, the persona information.
Yeah.
In Canada, we have clients that, as part of their quarterly QBRs, they're going, what do you mean our primary customers are female between 23 and 35? Well, that's who it is. That's who's
buying your stuff.
That's who's buying your stuff or whatever, making a loan, whatever it is. And what? And what do you mean 80% are transacted over a mobile phone? Why are we spending money on your website? Your website is what shows up in a mobile stack on your phone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That helps out a lot if you have enough traffic, just
to generate,
to help zero in on who that target audience is.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so, did they think their customer is somebody else? Were they like completely caught off guard?
This particular one, they're just going, oh, that doesn't make sense. We think it's males in this age range. And I'm going, well, data says, do with it what you want, but here is the data. And they're going, okay, we need to soften up. They're smart. We need to soften up the harshness of the colors and the Pantone and all kinds of things on our website.
Absolutely.
So, that's just using the data to really, enhance the user experience is kind of the secret sauce.
So do you think that then it's important, like for instance, is it possible to launch a venture from the ground up of developing the personas and the identity of who you think your client is, and building a website that will have the exact effect of what you've been talking about? Or do you really need to like build the site first, get the traffic, and let the data tell you? So I'm trying to say, can you do the data first? Like, can you find out who they are first and avoid the headache of, misunderstanding who actually is your customer? Or have you found that you can actually go out and from the beginning, do all that research, develop those customer personas, develop that customer journey, and get the low bounce rate and the low bounce rate and the conversions in the business?
I think you can get 80% of it.
80%, okay.
Up front, but there's always going to be information that the data is actually going to provide. I mean, and we've created websites and brands for, Disney and Lucasfilms and some other very large organizations, and they know who their target customer is.
Yeah, exactly. When you get
a company that's a SaaS-based company that's coming out with a new SaaS platform, and I go, here are our competitors. And I go, right, we can reverse engineer, stuff to get some insight, and that's there. You can get 80% of what you really get launched in that situation. Absolutely.
So, what are your strategies then for creating the content around those long tail keywords with that personas? Like, is there multiple personas that develop that you create content around?
Yeah. So typically, especially in large organizations, you've got different personas. Mm-hmm. And in healthcare, a perfect example is healthcare. Yeah. So if you're dealing with seniors, your persona is the caretaker. Yeah. But you have to really solve the problems that the actual whoever they're caring for has. But you have to create the content for searches based upon the caretaker's persona. So you have two target audiences. And in larger organizations, you've got the decision maker, which is somebody that's up the food chain, but somebody else is doing research. So they're just trying to find alternatives. So it's really important to literally talk to an organization that says, okay, who is asking for information? And who is the decision maker? And oftentimes there's sometimes 2 or 3 personas. And the point is creating content for where that person enters a website. Yeah. So if they're looking for information, that's top of the funnel. They're not looking for stuff that's in the middle of the funnel. They're still looking for solutions to a problem. They haven't narrowed down exactly what their problem is sometimes. They're just, they're feeling something and they have a need and they don't know what the solution might even look like and what the alternatives are. So, I mean, and then further down the funnel, they go, okay, we're looking for a commercial vacuum system. We have an Italian client that I was on a call yesterday and I go, commercial vacuums or industrial vacuums? Oh, no, it's industrial vacuums. I go, really? Let's use some data. Yeah. There are some tools you can put on your website, which we put on their website and go, these are the companies that are coming to your website. And this is what they're typing in the search. Oh yeah. America, yeah, I know. Yeah. It's commercial vacuums means industrial vacuums. Yeah. Because there's a difference, isn't there, between commercial and industrial? Big time. There is. But what the whole point is, what are your target customers typing in? And what are your competitors using for keywords on their website? Oh, yeah. So doing a competition analysis is part of the Absolutely.
part of the strategy. Yeah.
Yep.
And then obviously finding, what's the word I'm looking for? The gap analysis between, what they have and what the competitors have, and filling that gap with content.
That's exactly right. That solved the problem yesterday with this Italian client that said, no, in Italy and Europe, this is what people type in. Sorry, Dorothy, you're not in Italy anymore. You're in.
Yeah. It's totally different.
Here is what your competitors' keywords are.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You can't argue with the data. You may not like it.
Yeah.
But you can't argue it.
Yeah. You think more like data-driven marketing is the future? Like, I don't even know if people have been paying attention. Like,
completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got for content, you've got two audiences. You've got humans and you've got robots from the search engines.
Yeah.
Have this conversation pretty regularly and go, I want to approve every blog post, because, this is how I want it to read. And go, well, first of all, how many people are actually looking at your blog post? Humans.
Yeah.
Or do you want to rank, which is the search engine? You have two audiences.
Yeah.
Which one do you want? We have a client right now that it's all about humans. And I go, well, that's fine. You're getting zero value for all that content you're putting in, once or twice a week. And here's why.
Yeah. So do you want to waste your money or not?
That's pretty much the question.
Yeah. Sorry to be blunt.
Well, it is. It's pretty much the question. I said that 90, and in their case, 93% of their traffic is not to their blog posts.
Wow.
Not to their blog at all. It's a great information resource. If that's what you want, but you're spending money to create content that's generating nothing for your business.
Nothing. And you could, that could be costing money and web hosting traffic and costs and so on and so forth without getting an ROI. And there really is a art and science to creating content that, like, do you think it's possible to create content that satisfies both, like the user and the bot?
Yeah, it's structured though. And in our experience, when we look at heat maps and other things, the top 15-20% of content is what the humans, almost exclusively what the humans are looking for. And there's ways from a technology perspective to give, address what the humans are looking for and then not clutter up a page with the other 700 or 800 words that you're really structured for robots. Yeah.
Because people read, I very rarely do I read a full blog post or full resource or full article on the internet. I scan those. Everybody does it. We scan those headline and subheadline and bullet points, and to get the information. If we're really researching, we'll read it more. But I think the rest of that content is just written for the algorithm, the search engine, whether it's the gorilla Google or the smaller competitors, market share, Bing, Google, I don't even know who else there is.
Google also has its own YouTube, so which means their algorithms are enhanced for anybody that has a video on their website, and they're looking at the links of the video, and it's not one thing; it's a lot of things that you really have to look at.
Yeah. Hey, what about creating, like, to get the, you've lowered your traffic, you've targeted your personas. What about creating like segmenting your traffic by saying, like I'm thinking of a four columns on the page. Are you this kind of customer? Are you 18 to 35 looking for this, or whatever, 18 to 25, 26 to 30? Like if it was healthcare, or are you this age, this, we're looking for this. Have you found strategies like that to segment, to help people to segment who they are, has been effective?
It's insightful information. Sometimes it's surprising, but you can have, we've used little pop-ups.
Oh yeah.
To ask for demographic information.
Oh, okay.
And it's a little annoying. So you can't do it permanently, which some companies like to do. And I'm just going, it's just, you're just annoying people. that's like asking or requiring you have to set up an account in order to purchase something. And we go, all right, you just eliminated nowadays about 80% of your
absolutely
customers, because nobody wants more accounts.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody has too many passwords to begin with.
Yeah.
Don't need any more. Now,
no.
How about for a discount? We just want an email address. Well, you're going to have an email address for anybody that checks out.
So they're trying to make it have an account just to even buy something rather than waiting for them to decide to buy and then creating an account. They're trying to do a reverse way in order to capture the lead sort of deal. Yeah, that's not going to work.
You can log into your account and we already have your address. You don't have to put your address and credit card information, all that other kind of stuff. And they're going, you know what? A lot of people like myself have autofill technology on their laptop.
Yep.
No, I don't need to create another account at some business in order to transact with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, it's a user experience.
Yeah.
Are you enhancing it or are you hurting it?
Yeah. Hey, is there anything else you want to add that any questions I haven't asked that I should have asked?
Oh, there's so much, Matt, that probably covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we tried to stay on topic for this particular.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a big takeaway you want listeners to get from this episode?
I think we talked about it early on, and that is you need to document and fully understand your target customer. Yeah. Completely. And it's 100%. It's worth the investment to do that, because, what you should be using is that brand platform for anything you create, whether it's a brochure, a business card, website, your trade show booth. Yeah. Everything that is created, your content, everything. And if you don't do that, it's a little bit like, throwing spaghetti against the wall, hoping something sticks. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Essentially, if I may sum it up, correct me if I'm wrong, is like you need to get your business down to your elevator speech of who you are and who you target. And that ain't easy to do. It requires an investment of time, money, resources, and research. But it's essential if you really want to be successful. My 4 questions. If you can answer these questions in 15 seconds, you've got it down. Who are you? Which means the essence of your organization. What problem do you solve? Who specifically do you solve it for? And why should anybody choose you versus other alternatives? Yeah. There you go. Usually a well-crafted elevator speech can do that. Hey, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. How can our listeners connect with you? You can probably track me down at either on LinkedIn, George Lee, or snapagency.com. Okay. George at snapagency.com. Okay. Just Google me, George Lee, Snap Agency, and sure. I'm all over. And you're all over. Like it or not, and reputation, I'm all over. Right on. Search engines. Well, that's awesome. It's hard for me because my name's Matt Fraser, and there's an NHL hockey player, there's a psychic, there's so many other people. I don't know if maybe you have that problem, but that's another discussion. Anyway, there's lots of George. There is a surprisingly large number of George Lees. I was thinking about that as I was saying that. So George Lee Snap Agency, if you want to search him on Google, and you'll find him. Anyway, George, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate you having here. I'm honored and pleasure. Thanks, Matt. Right on. Have a great day. You too. Bye-bye.